see, so being 7 o'clock, we'll start the Conservation Commission meeting for Halifax. This is being recorded on Area 58 and can be seen on YouTube. Yeah. So the first thing on the agenda was 0 Laurel Street and 0 Thompson Street, Maryland's Landing for an ANRAD. And I believe they've asked for that to be continued.
All right. I put a motion that we continue 0 Laurel Street and Thompson Street for April 23rd, 7:15 p.m.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and then, guess we can do
Office time?
maybe bills?
Yeah. You got them?
Yep.
I put a motion that we pay bills.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I think there's just... I think this is all just, yeah, there you go. I think they're all attached.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
That's that. And we could do, we have like a couple more minutes.
That's quick.
Want to do the meeting minutes? Or anything else, or we can just,
Yeah, we can do the minutes. The two, we have to do them separately.
okay.
I put a motion that we approve the minutes for December 19th, 2023.
I'll second that motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and all three of us were here.
And I put a motion to approve the minutes for January 9th, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's that one. Did we have one for the 23rd?
It said that in here we had one for the 23rd. Oh, no, just these two.
Okay. We'll hold off on that one then.
So this needs to be signed by Kim and Ed.
And that one.
This is also Kim.
Okay, thank you. So this, the,
We need the second signature on that one.
yes, send it over. There we go. Okay.
And this one's the 19th.
What is this? Okay.
And
I think you signed this one, right? Good. I'll
Did I
put
sign
that
it?
in there, yeah.
everyone's on.
Everyone signed?
Oh, it goes on here.
Yeah. And this, throw it in the bottom of the pile. Yeah.
And one
So, yeah, we'll call it. So, 7:05, we have 7 Old Ocean Avenue, an RDA hearing to request to build a new 23 by 8 deck.
Yep.
Hi.
Yeah, so we would just like to add a deck on the back of the house, which is on West Monpont.
Okay. And your name?
Oh, Michael Patrizzi?
Hi, Michael. Okay. And you wanted to add a deck to the back?
Yes. Yeah, just deck on the lake, because most of the other houses all have.
Was there a deck there prior?
No, they didn't have a deck. One of the few houses that didn't.
And how close to the water?
Well, it is extremely high now, but usually when it is high, about 15 feet. So the footings are going to be, the 5 footings will be 6 feet out from the house. And then right now, where it's high, it's about 8 feet from the water, where it's so high right now.
Yeah, we just
But-
have a 50-foot no touch in Halifax.
Right, that's why I'm here,
So
for
it's,
the,
yes.
you know, hoping for a deck.
Is it gonna be a floating deck? What type of deck?
Oh, off the house, yeah,
Oh, just a regular deck off the house? Oh, okay.
yeah. So, I mean, whatever I have to do. And it would just be the footings, really, in the sand. Sand lime, because it is, there's a patch, that area there is in the lime, it's not even
The
the
footings
beach
in-
part.
And you'll be putting cement into the ground?
Yes, well, just a pad for the posts.
Um,
So my personal opinion is it should have a notice of intent, and we should go through the normal process because of how close it is, the close proximity to the water.
I agree.
I personally, of course, I would review it more, but I'd be apt to decline just because it's so close to the water. But
Okay, we weren't expecting that at all.
So I have a question. In the past, has this board made exceptions or came with conditions?
we can,
Be-
yes.
Because there are multiple decks there. Not every house was built with a deck. So I'm assuming that there are other properties that have come before us. So in the fairness of staying consistent with past votes of the board, I think we should look into it more.
I'm not saying I would
see.
decline the NOI, I'm saying I think it deserves a proper NOI.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. So if you wanted to go that route and
Okay,
fill
I
out
mean,
an
whatever.
NOI and come back to us for that.
What is that? Okay, so look up.
Notice of
Notice
intent.
Notice of intent.
Okay, all right.
All right, thank you.
All right,
All right,
thank you
thanks
for
for coming.
coming in. Okay. So being 710, 8 Hilda Lane, notice of intent. Aye. He's got one. go ahead, I'm sorry.
Joe Webby, Webby Engineering, and this is for the roadway known as Silver Lane. Currently, it's a gravel roadway that Mr. Scott Burgess has purchased the land with the lane, and he would like to pave that road and have a subdivision that would create 1, 2, 3, 4 new lots. The last time we were here, we had submitted plans with a new delineation, or a more recent delineation, and part of that, we had to go to natural heritage because it's not a natural heritage. And so I wanted to bring, we finally have gotten approval from natural heritage. And the other thing I want to give you while we're right here is these are plans that we submitted to natural heritage so that you'll have everything that we submitted to them.
You take it.
I think on the, one of the conditions, or there are several conditions that are on the last page of the natural heritage, and there are 3 conditions. And one of them is that this list of conditions has to be part of your order of conditions. And we can certainly give you the original whenever you ask for it.
Okay,
Okay, but you know, part of their conditions is you put it in your conditions.
and that will be based on this plan that we submitted, that you submitted to them.
Yes, that's, yeah, the 11 by 17 is the plans that we submitted to them.
And one thing that I wanted to check, I think we had it redelineated, but then we haven't done a peer review on that yet, have we? So I think that's something
Yeah, I think it was something with Ford was here, and then Ford wasn't here, and
we have to wait for national heritage.
yeah, we were waiting for that.
But
On the, obviously, project like this, peer review will obviously take account of a stormwater management plan, control the water, where it's going. Would you like to explain how you can control the runoff water and everything?
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah. We are having, it's going to be a drainage basin right in this area, next to Hundi Nasralla. And then we're also going to have a set of catch basins at the beginning of Haywood Street and Hilda Lane. All the water up in this area will go channeled into the existing trench that's in this area, so none of that will get into the roadway. So the only thing that we have to do with the stormwater is take care of this area right there. Those drainage reports were all submitted to the planning.
And for your replication, is it a 1-to-1 replication that you proposed?
We are doing, I think it's a 2-to-1.
2-to-1?
Yeah, it's really easy.
Yeah, we are just about ready to submit, well, we wanted to have this meeting first, but then we're going to submit a notice of intent for this crossing and for these 2 lots. This lot, we can keep all the work beyond 100 feet. So we're going to be filing a notice of intent for there
Okay.
within the next week.
I think first I probably want to get the peer review before we go forward with anything
Yeah,
else.
that's up to you guys.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Maybe we can work on that next. Okay.
I'm assuming a lot of neighbors are here concerned with the water. Say your name and,
Yeah,
Somebody
Diane
can say
Bradford. You all should have gotten a letter
Yeah.
from the Connollys
Yes.
and read it and seen the pictures. How things have changed in the last few years. She's very nervous because I believe the house, oops, sorry. This one here is abutting her big time. And this is a very big concern. My husband's a plumber. He had to go and the sump pump's still going. The pump, he's had 3 pumps going, siphoning it out of her basement this week. The Hilda Lane, I got a picture of it. Here's a picture of one of the pumps going in another house in the neighborhood that's been going on and off for the last few weeks.
Is that from, obviously, groundwater building up?
I think it's from underneath it. I'm now getting water in my screening room, big time. It's just a little bit of what's been in there. Kids can't even go out and play in there anymore. Wait a minute. Just an idea of Hayward Street, which is abutting it, it's getting worse
Oh, yes, I drive it every day.
and worse. I got more better ones. Okay, my concern is this is Hilda Lane, okay? That's Hilda Lane right now, okay? Looks to me it's very wet. So they tar it, pave it, it's gonna look like Hayward Street. You can't help it, the water's underneath. I'm very concerned about this whole thing. You know, there's some more pictures of Hayward Street. There's a problem, and that needs to be addressed big time in this project. I understand that people want to build on the land they bought. They haven't been able to build it, no matter who buys it, in 35 years. I don't know what, the weather's getting worse, it's getting wetter. So that all has to be taken into consideration.
Thank you.
Okay? Thanks.
Yeah, you like to address some of those
I'm
issues?
sorry, Eileen, I didn't catch the first sentence of your, is there a letter someplace from someone
Yes, it's
that
the
we were not
Connollys.
given to? You should have.
They sent it to them.
Everything that you
Well,
submitted.
We don't have a person in the office right now to,
I'll be
Yeah,
sure it's
you know what, I have one, Joe.
You're welcome.
Okay. The other thing that I will mention, that right now, if people are pumping water out of the cellars, that only tells us one thing: the house was built too low. And that is telling us now that we got to keep these houses up so that we don't get water in the cellar.
Wait a minute.
We'll give you
Why
an
is that
opportunity
funny?
to address again.
Why would that be funny, Amy?
Because there's,
please, wait.
No, we're not gonna go through this.
Can we just address the board and not discuss amongst each other's? Thank you. Go ahead.
That's it. I'll take any questions.
So I don't know if everybody that's with concerns has what Mass Wildlife and National Heritage sent out. But the state approved the project as long as conservation goes ahead with a different list of conditions, as long as the state's conditions are also included as a part of it. And that's a huge step that National Heritage and Mass Wildlife and Fisheries has approved it, okay? And drainage and the increase in water, we're all facing it. There's been nasty and violent weather, there's been an increase, there's nowhere left for the water to go. The entire town is facing it. Okay, it's not just special to Hilda Lane or other things with these massive weather events that we've had.
Mr. Webby, on lot, was it 7T, is it?
Which one, this one?
No, the one, that one there, yes.
Okay, yeah.
There's some concern with the property next to it, to the left of it. As I look at it, it's to the left.
This one?
No.
This one here?
Nope.
This here?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, the Connollys, yep.
When you're building that house, obviously, it's going to be runoff heading to, obviously, if you build something up, water will be diverted a little, won't it?
Yeah, this water, well, if we elevate this dwelling, which it will be elevated,
Yeah,
then the water will all slope to the street.
go to the street.
Yeah,
So,
because we're proposing a septic in the front.
can I comment on what Kim
Yeah.
said? So there is nowhere left for the water to go, as you said, Kim.
Yeah.
But the more impervious surfaces we add to the land, it creates more of a problem for the neighbors. So I understand what you're saying, raising the houses will keep the water out of your basement, but adding more impervious surfaces will add more water to the neighboring properties, to the abutters. And I'm wondering why the road must be paved and it cannot remain gravel.
Well, I think that the picture shows that why would somebody build houses on a road that's not paved? I think that it behooves and it's easier for the town to take care of a road that's paved than gravel road now that they're not taking care of. We're gonna direct all this water down to this basin here. So it'll be coming down in this way and this way. We're taking into account the pavement, that's what we do. We know how much water's gonna be going there in a certain rainstorm. And that's what we're gonna do. And once it gets into this basin, it's gonna be going in that direction towards the river.
So the peer review process would definitely help in this situation so that we could make sure that that is in fact where the water is going.
And so nothing else actually will be done until we do the peer review.
Yeah, we have no problem with peer review.
So, yes.
What are some of the conditions of the National Heritage?
I can read this. So they list 3 conditions. This is what you're referring to, right?
Yes.
Okay. So record letter and plan. It says prior to the start of the work or as otherwise approved by the division, the applicant shall A, record this letter and the site plan in the North Bristol Registry of Deeds or the land court for the district in which the property is located so as to become a record part of the chain of title for the property, and B, provide the division with proof of said recordation. And then number 2 says limits of work. No work or alteration to the soil, surface, or vegetation shall occur outside of the limits of work shown on the site plan unless otherwise approved in writing in advance by the division. And then number 3 is a turtle protection plan. Prior to the start of work, including vegetation clearing or soil disturbance, the applicant shall submit an eastern box turtle protection plan to the division for review and written approval. Said plan shall detail procedures for protecting state-listed turtles during construction and be prepared and implemented by a qualified division-approved wildlife biologist. The division is available for consultation on plan development and can provide contact information for qualified biologists. And there's quite a bit more about that, but it's talking about a division-approved plan for turtle protection.
Has any of that been started?
No, we just got the letter.
No, I know. I didn't know if the applicant had started it.
Yes, we have. We contacted a biologist about this, ECR Brad Holmes.
Does anybody else have any questions?
So is this road over the 100% on feet border of the wetlands or any of this that's being built right now?
Yeah, we are doing a little bit of work within the 100 feet. You can see our blue line is the BVW, bordering vegetated wetland. The 50-foot is the 50-foot from it, and the green is the 100. So to build Hill the Lane, we're going to be disturbing this much of bordering vegetated wetland. Excuse me, the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated, not the wetland itself. The only time that we will be disturbing wetlands is when we actually propose to do a driveway crossing in this area, which we have not submitted any notice of intent yet.
Okay, and one more question. You said that the water is then going to slant off to the river, which the river on Hayward Street is already overflowing, and we're going to have worse streets. We are damaging our cars and everything else. That's not going to help. That's really not going to help.
Yeah, that road that we all hover drives on, you need a four-wheel drive truck to go down.
So, and what's a peer
But-
review?
Then just someone else that checks the wetland line to make sure it's accurate.
Okay.
And
And has everybody here ever taken a ride down to see this area?
I've definitely been down that way, but
You've
not
been down there.
recently.
I've been down that way almost every day, but I haven't gone up that dirt road. I feel
This might be something you might want to do before you pass anything.
We're not passing anything now.
Anything else? Anybody else have questions? Yes.
What's the elevation drop from the highest proposed lot to the nearest house that's currently built?
So the nearest house would be, I guess my son's house would be here.
Isn't there a house right there, further up?
Well, I'm not, why don't you come on up
So-
and be in show, and then you can ask the question, maybe I can understand it better.
So you have 3 houses, right?
1, 2, 3, yes.
These are your proposed houses, right?
Yeah.
What is the elevation drop from the highest point here
33.
to the first house that's here?
33, and that is about that. Can you read that? I can't read that.
35.
35.
Is this, oh, this is a proposed house, right?
Right, yeah.
So this is this,
That's the near, that's the
Okay.
closest house, right?
what's this elevation of this house?
Looks to me to be about 35.
So it's pretty flat.
It's pretty flat, yeah. But what happens is there's a hill here, then it slopes down both ways into a trench,
Yeah,
and then it levels off again.
okay.
So, anything else from anybody before we continue this? No? Okay. So we're going to get in that peer review, and we'll get in touch with you, if that's all right? We'll get in touch with you if that's
Oh,
all
you
right.
should have.
I have one last question, and I know you probably can't answer this for Mr. Levy. But I was curious, on the last project where we had drainage concerns and water concerns, we had asked them to put in rooted plants to help absorb different types of vegetation. They came back and on their own, which was sweet of them, a water garden and other such things like that. If you just would they potentially be open to those type of things if?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. Future thought for our next meeting. And anything to help absorb the water naturally, or what we can do to help, I'm happy to do that, but those aren't the decisions. It's not my money to spend. I can only bring it up ahead of time and see what they come back with for everybody.
I believe you can put that in your order of conditions.
We can, but we're not even there yet. The peer review study is not in yet, but that's why I wanted to ask it ahead of time, to give them the heads up that we may require that.
Okay, and did you have a question?
My name's Deborah Emery. I am one of the buyers, hopefully, for that 3-lot plan. And I was there on Sunday, and I did take some pictures. The water does seem to be draining. I don't have my cell phone with me right now. I can forward them if you want. But the water seemed to be draining. There was one small puddle. I went back there after the last storm the following day also, and the water did seem to be draining. Right on Hilda Lane.
Right, but the water.
Not during the storm, I didn't go, but I went the following day to see how the water was draining, and I did take pictures at the last 2 storms.
And that's great, but the water's still gonna come back, and.
But I think it's there
gonna-
everywhere. That's what we're saying. It's
Right,
like
but
that.
we don't need, if you're gonna have to go over the wetlands and everything else, we don't really need to be passed, and we don't, us people who have been there for 30-something years don't want to have our water in our cellars or our homes. You know what I mean? And I
Hopefully
can
the drainage
understand.
plan will help. And the trees, again, I know that we had done some research as well. We would probably plan on replacing a lot of the trees that do come down. And I believe,
Right now, the
there's-
trees are coming down because of the water.
but in that, I'm not sure whose home this first one is, but this home has very few trees. This is almost, it has a pool, it has...
That's my home.
Yeah, it has very few trees. I see the trees on this home, and I see some trees on this line, but this tree has very
The
few.
Connollys just lost so many, which is where that house is gonna abut. Okay, they have a letter right there, if you'd like to read it.
Okay. I have the letter and I have read it, and I understand trees, but I'm curious to know what type of trees. If they're pine trees
Do you
versus
have
a
the-
different type of
Is
tree.
it the
I'm
wind
gonna
that took
have
it down, or is it the rain?
A different approach to it, because that's what pine trees do. It just naturally happens, unfortunately, in this type of weather.
I lost 2 pine trees. I live in Southeastern right now. I lost 2 big, huge pine trees.
Yeah, that's not
During-
bad.
Yeah.
Are you going to move there?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna close this hearing, we'll continue it.
Yeah, I put a motion that we continue a couple meetings down the road, May 14th at 7:10.
May 14th.
Second.
I'll second that.
Is there going to be something else in 2 weeks that I'm seeing on
Let
this?
us continue this, please.
Then we'll,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And-
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Is
Mr.
the one in 2 weeks going to still be on?
We have a meeting, this is continued May 14th.
This.
Nothing's been submitted
This
yet.
has been.
Okay, so the one on,
We will have another meeting in 2 weeks, but this is continued.
okay, so the set, we should count, okay. in 2
Okay.
weeks, okay.
You're welcome.
No, the May 14th is not 2 weeks, it's,
No, but they're
No,
on the
she's-
agenda for
she-
2 weeks from today.
No, you misunderstood. He said that he's going to file a notice of intent and hope to come onto the agenda.
for the
But
next
he
part
hasn't
two.
filed that yet because they're not there yet.
I'll just keep a
Okay.
look. All right, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Jody, you want to keep an eye on it? I
I
have one.
took
So-
a picture.
Okay.
Thanks, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It'll be 7:30. So we have.
Oh, wait, excuse me.
Oh,
Should we
sorry.
also add on to the continuance that peer review?
Oh, yes.
I'd like to continue, a continuation from May 14th, 7:10. Also request a peer review on
Yes, thank you. And is this something that you?
stormwater management.
But that we added.
Yeah, once they,
Okay, in second for that.
I'll second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
And it looks like at 7:30 we have.
If you do you want me to send
the
pictures up
Halifax
from the day, or
Park
I
Commission.
bombard you?
Anything?
Should be in the park
Is
commission.
anybody here from the Halifax Park Commission? Don't.
So send it to
All right, so we just,
Peggy, I think is the one who's up.
So
So
the-
I'll send it to her.
it's just discussions. we have to-
Yeah, Kim, you all set over there?
Yeah, she was just asking who to send her email and her pictures to.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can send the ones from the following
Okay.
day, just as backup if it
All right,
is
thank
any
you.
assistance
Thank you.
for the drainage. Okay, thank you so much.
So 341 Plymouth Street, drainage issue complaint, request to be added by Tom Alger.
Yes, thank you. So I just have a few questions and a couple comments.
Okay?
Going back to the January 9th, 2024 meeting, I did a presentation, I asked a few questions, and provided some suggestions on how to solve this problem. So one of the questions I asked was, would we be able to, or would the town or Stop and Shop or whoever has responsible for that drainage, maybe the Chinese restaurant and the other restaurant next to it, that parking lot, whoever owns that, could divert the water runoff to Stop and Shop and drain into the drainage basin for Stop and Shop. And you had indicated, Chairwoman, that you would look into this, and I was just wondering the status of that.
That,
Well, one thing, didn't we Stop and Shop clear out there?
they did. We did just talk to Stop and Shop, and they cleared out their basin because it had been clogged.
Okay, but that was like the first step.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
As far as diverting water into their basins, no, I haven't. I guess that would be something we would have to ask Stop and Shop if they would like to do. It's something that I don't believe we could enforce them to do.
Right.
But we have not asked them that. But they've been nice enough to clean out their basins in the Dunn County Forest twice a year to let us know that they are maintaining those basins.
That's
Would
good.
that be the highway department too? If we
I
wanted-
would, yes, and a lot of this I think would be highway department. They were going to come today and they can't make the meeting, but they did say that they would be doing another dye test with you in attendance and with Mr. Peck. Is that
Oh.
correct?
Well, we've been hearing this since January.
Yes, I guess they did another one, but it didn't work, so they're going to try it again.
But we
But they did say-
weren't aware of even the first one.
Okay. It wasn't successful for some whatever reason, but they're going to do another one, and they were going to have you in attendance and Mr. Peck. when they
Excellent.
do it.
So along those basins, so looking at those drainage drains in all of those parking lots, I took a walk through there, and they're just full of debris. So those aren't working.
Okay, those again, I believe that's the highway
Okay,
department.
the highway department.
I believe, if anyone
Okay.
knows
All
differently.
the parking lots, was it Walmart too you're talking, or just?
No, this would be the Chinese restaurant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And also Tedeschi's, that's Tedeschi's still. And also the other restaurant that's next to the Chinese restaurant,
Nice.
Nani's. So that's all packed with debris. So that's not even functioning. It's just bubbling up water when it rains, because I was over there during a rainstorm.
Okay, that's a good point. Trying to figure out that lot itself, so they can keep up with, I'm sure they would have, what is the conditions, they have some type of runoff.
Yeah, we can check when they were built and,
Yeah, look, but even 20 years ago, there were a lot of people had drainage, like
yeah.
basins and stuff like that to be put in, to see if they can clear it out. You said it looks like it's all garbage everywhere on those?
Inside there is all sorts of debris, so the water just sits there and just bubbles up
Yeah, yeah.
and
It's like
floods the
cable,
parking area.
Yeah, it's clogged.
So it's just all clogged. It's not working.
Okay.
So I don't know if the overflow then flows into 314, or I don't know if the true drainage goes into 314, or does the true drainage go into Stop and Shop? We don't know, because it's all packed up. It's not working as it was designed by the engineers.
So better maintenance on all of them.
The other thing is I took a walk out back behind the bank, and in the February meeting, there was some talk about that. I brought up that should be cleaned out as well, that drainage basin. There's actually like 2-3-inch trees growing up there, so they've never maintained that. So they should be, and that was brought up in February, and that the conservation, we were going to send out a letter to the bank to resolve that. Also, there was some talk about potentially a catch basin being built next between Stop and Shop property and Dunkin' Donuts. There was some talk about that. I was wondering if that went anywhere.
That falls on the highway department too, I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
That was my idea, and I followed through, but it follows on the highway department.
I think that's good to know.
And then it falls onto, is it a state road or a town road?
Right.
I don't know that one yet.
And that kind of leads into the last point I want to bring up, and that's the water that's flowing from Route 106 onto the driveway. And I think there's a common theme here. So my mother has approached the highway department, Mr. Haywood, and has asked him several times on trying to resolve that issue. And he's told her that, I'll fix it, it'll be fixed, don't worry about it. And I would rather him say to her, no, we're not going to fix it. Go back inside and be quiet, instead of being totally disrespectful and lying to her and saying that we're going to fix it and not doing
I'm
it.
going to stop you right there. I know you're frustrated with the time of it, but we have a really small highway department that's short-staffed, small budget, and they can say they're going to take care of it. What they don't give you is a time frame. And I know I simply needed a catch basin raised in front of my house. It took them 3.5 years to get there.
Yeah.
But it's not because they weren't doing it. That just happens to be where my request came in and where I fell on all the work that they needed to do in time.
Then that's fine. I don't have a problem with waiting. We've waited years for this, okay? But tell me it's going to be 10 years. Tell me it's going to be 15 years before you fix it.
And that's something that you should be addressing to the highway department, not
Well,
us.
I think that what we've talked about tonight is the highway department.
Okay.
Everything I brought up here that you said you were going to look into, you were going to do, all reverts back to one particular person, okay? And if you can't get anywhere with the highway department, I'm certainly not going to get anywhere with the highway department.
I think it's time that we officially invite the highway.
Well, he was going to come
department.
tonight, but he couldn't make it.
Because this has been an ongoing issue for decades.
Okay.
And there's more construction going on top of problems that haven't been resolved before, green stamping, everything else. And so we need to get on it, and if we need to address it, if we need to ask Cody and the selectmen for help, then we need to do that, because we need to figure out what's town and what's state, because they're losing the whole property, value of their property, and they can't use their yard 9 months out of the year.
And what's the highway department, what's conservation?
And also, you want to bring up
I
the
know, 'cause
conservation
that's
end, the salt, the sand, and everything flowing off of those roads that we dump on them and in over onto their properties is no good for them.
Okay, well, we can get the invitation out.
Yeah, maybe try to talk to the town administrator
Yeah.
and see if he can talk to the highway department, because the chain of command, you know, obviously,
Right.
he talks to them, should be able to get something.
One thing I would like to ask each and every one of you, if this was your property, would you be satisfied with the responses today?
I'd stop paying my taxes till something gets done, but that's just me personally. And I'd be writing a letter with my tax bill, when you do this, blah, 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 and here's my savings account.
And I say that respectfully.
No, I
think the one
I'll
thing-
be upset also.
Yeah. You know, one thing we can do is we can look into these other properties that when they were built, if they had a plan for their catch basins as far as maintaining them.
But that's-
I think that's about the only thing that we can do because we can't.
I disagree, and I
Okay.
disagree on this one point.
Sure.
So when people
I could be
come
wrong.
and they present, and they put together a plan, drainage plan, all of that, and it looks good, they're certified, they're that, but they can make mistakes too. And as time progresses, maybe it didn't work out as they anticipated, or their assumptions weren't correct. And obviously they weren't, because we have this problem now.
On that issue, a few years back, we started a stormwater management plan. We implemented it, took a couple years to actually get together. But that's one of the main things that conservation has done in the last couple of years, is make sure we have a stormwater management plan. And we have a peer review by a certain person, they're insured. If the peer review is a failure, or the engineer's a failure, there's consequences there.
Right, and things change.
Yes, and I think that's,
And
So it's to make it, we need to make a wrong a right.
yeah.
I hear a lot of frustration and that you'd like more enforcement of the order of conditions and other things around. And for the restaurants and the other businesses to maintain and actually comply with what's on file. And that is our job, enforcement, to make sure those things are done and they do fall under us. And the fact that we have no one in the office and other things
Yeah, that's a big.
it's not an excuse to continue to kick things down the road though.
May I make a suggestion that the Conservation Commission reach out to the owners of the Happy Dragon and Nonnie's and Northeastern Savings Bank and ask them to clean their catch basins?
Yeah, right.
I'm just not sure who's going to actually, is Peggy able to type up those letters and reach out to them?
I know a few years back on the bank, I think we had them do some work on the back.
I believe
What was that,
yeah.
3 years ago, 4 years ago?
It must have been a while ago,
Yeah, it was
because
a
the
while
trees
back.
now,
And they're big, yeah.
they're like that big.
Yeah, we can-
That should be being maintained. That's an,
Yeah, they
as
just,
Kim was saying.
and that took a while for them to do
Assumption that they will
that.
maintain those. And
If you go behind the auto parts store, they have it beautiful. It's all mowed, it's all taken care of. I believe it's working as it was designed, but the bank, they don't care.
and they might not know, they might not understand, so.
Yes, go ahead.
So, to his point, and I guess my point, every property owner, it's their responsibility to maintain their catch basins. It's no different than a septic system. It has to be cleaned out every so often because it builds up sediment, debris, toxins, whatever, everything's running into it. There's one where I work, they had to bring in pumps. They have to be cleaned, they have to be maintained. It's not the highway department's job to maintain Stop and Shop's catch basin or the banks. And the reason that the auto parts store catch basin is working so great is because it's brand new.
And it was a
But-
stormwater management plan.
Right, so like I think you could honestly look at saying, we're gonna start fining you if you don't clean your catch basins. It's just like a septic system. If my septic system's overflowing into the pond, I expect to be complained against because now you have to swim in my stuff. That's the same thing though. Like, it's really their it's each property owner's duty and responsibility to clean them. And I suggest fine them if they don't, because they're damaging other people's property.
Yeah, we've done that with people in properties prior. We actually had to threaten the bank at one point to clean out the back. Now they neglected it, and we might have to go down that avenue again.
Do we have a form letter that we just can send to somebody?
Usually we have the office assistant print it out, certify it.
Send it.
Okay, so I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Because that's not a state road, it's a parking lot. Like,
Yeah.
our highway department's trying to clean the storm drains and patch the roads. The town owns and the state owns. I mean, you can't be running around people's parking lots that aren't our
So we can,
responsibility.
yeah, we can have Peggy find.
Yeah, find out who the
Find those
those
NOIs,
areas.
and she can send out letters to them.
Yeah. that's good.
And
Okay.
at least that'll be a start while we're waiting for the highway department.
And what?
And at least it's a start.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, take care.
And, let's see, the next thing on the agenda is 250 Lincoln Street. This is Morse Brothers. It was a 3/13/24 incident report. Yeah.
It's under investigation still?
Yes, the thing is, it's still under active investigation, so there's not a lot we can say about it because of that. But once it's complete, then it will be a better public record. Okay. And then 551 Ponset Street, that was the excavator equipment in the sand pile. And did you go out there?
I went out
Oh,
there.
you were out. I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
no problem. I went out there on Tuesday. They have a ton of people over there working. Actually, Bob was there like 15 minutes before me. Oh, no. The land, they put some, what is it? Everything's level in the back now. I guess a couple of weeks ago, a week before, there was somewhat of a little ditch in the back of the building. That's all filled in. The silt fence is not been touched with any debris. They have like I say about 2-foot grass going along that, and nothing's on the grass, so to keep an eye on that. I also mentioned to them to make sure they keep all heavy machinery away from the lake, obviously, as far away as possible. At least 100 feet, I'd rather have 200 feet.
Yeah.
And they said they would keep up on that. But yeah, it seems like they're going to be finishing. They're trying to bang that out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The big pile, they put some.
How does the stuff on it?
Yeah, they put some green, so the wind won't blow it. I don't think it was blowing much anyway because of the rain.
No, I was more worried about the rain and the wind.
Yeah. And it was pretty far away from the lake too. And obviously they've been
It's
trying.
within probably 50 feet.
No,
But
that's
my concern was the 3 excavators parked next to the shoreline when you have a huge parking lot.
Yeah, no, they're moving them over
They move.
towards the street, obviously, now, in the closed-in area. So, but like I said, I think they're gonna have it done in a couple of weeks, the whole project out there, unless weather prevents them.
And then 471 on Ponset Street was the complaint regarding trash appliance junk buildup at the property. And I believe a letter was sent out to the owner asking for their presence on our meeting on 4/23. So, and he said, okay. So that'll be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, the 23rd.
Yeah. And then we did the bills.
So I have a question on 471.
Sure.
What's being done in the meantime while we're waiting for them to come in? I mean, I drive by, and even after the fire, all the complaints, all the kindness of the community wanting to get together and help them out. The issue's just getting worse.
Well, I think at least now we have them coming before us.
And if I drove by today, and if you look at the house and you go slow enough, they're right on the pond line now. Like, there used to be at least 15 or 20 feet, but now everything is moved back, and it's right on. Like,
Is that the one that's been, we've been talking about for like a year and a half, 2 years?
yes, and it's been on the Board of Health agenda for even longer.
Yeah, at one point, some people were supposed to go in and clean it up, and obviously...
It caught on fire.
Oh, I would have been...
I took like 7 bags for him, and then like I got sick of it because he filled them full of glass and stuff. It didn't tie the bags; it would spill all in my truck. So I'm like, you know,
They were,
I can't do this.
Mr. Lipsy and others did go in and help them, but the homeowners weren't as helpful or appreciative as the volunteers would have liked, so that ceased. And it was kind of the community to do. It stinks it didn't work out.
Guys.
So may I ask, in the letter that asked him to come before us, was anything suggested for him to do in the meantime, or was it just asking him to come before
I
us?
believe it's just asking
Yeah.
him to come before us.
I know we're all familiar with the property, but has the board themselves gone out to actually look at it and do a site visit?
I haven't.
I have not, no. But if he's coming to the meeting, we can ask him at that point if we can go out to it.
Go on his property.
Yeah.
Wear gloves.
Or we could even reach out to him before, to see if we can go out to it before the meeting, and then we'll have knowledge of it when we have him come in.
I think I'd rather have knowledge of it prior
Okay.
to
We can,
than after the meeting.
So we can have Peggy call him and see if we
Peggy.
can set up a day. Yeah, okay.
May I ask Mr.
Yeah.
Gillespie a question? Jeremy, when you went out there, was he trying to be cooperative? Is it just a matter of not having the means to do it, not knowing where to begin?
Yeah, like I told him if he would leave like 3 bags on, 2 or 3 times a week out front, I'd grab them on the way in to work. So I took like about 7, but eventually, like he wouldn't tie the bag. They were like 100 pounds. There was glass breaking through them. So I had glass all in the back of my truck. Like, dude, if you can't even tie the bag, it's just glass in here and you can't double back on. I'm not doing this.
Right, that makes sense.
So he doesn't even have the means either, so...
I don't know. Half everything that guy says is just...
Do we have community preservation funds that could be used for renting a dumpster, or helping in this way?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Again, it's a good question. I'll ask the town shine counselor if there's a grant program or other things. There may be different programs that are out there, but the state definitely has programs.
He's still acquiring stuff.
But that's...
Is he still putting stuff on?
He's still acquiring stuff.
So I can't go into a lot of detail, but I have followed it with the Board of Health. So I wonder if we speak to Bob, if Bob would have any recommendations to gently go over and make sure that everything is in line with the Board of Health, Conservation, the Fire Department, because he's in front of multiple departments now, because there's so many concerns and hazards.
I believe that the Board of Health has looked at it and that there were no issues with the Board of Health.
I think that was regarding chickens or pigeons or something.
So, okay.
But the Board of Health would address any potential hoarding issues and different things, and like that type of stuff just doesn't fall in the realm of conservation.
I don't know how old the homeowner is, but is it something that elderly affairs might?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like 50s.
Well, this is up, so we'll put a call out
Hopefully he
to
shows up at the meeting. That's all.
And that's,
I hate
and
to say
anything
hope,
else?
but,
Anybody?
Yeah,
On
so
that.
Kimberly, you're going to look into if there's any grants available?
Yeah, I'll look
Before that
into it, and that's why I asked about the Board of Health too. And the Board of Health has a lengthy history of it. It may not be us that I find out from, but there may be a different type of grant that falls under a different department that may be the fire chiefs, if it's a safety or a hazard,
Right,
type
okay.
thing that may be able to do it. And if it's a hoarding issue, another thing, that would be the Board of Health or other things. And I can ask Laura Howard over in Whitman too. She did a complete remake over of a house that was very similar that ended up getting condemned until it was cleaned.
Okay.
And different things, and different monies, different helpers, the list of peoples that help, so there may or may not be options.
It would be nice to know before that, you know,
Yeah.
if you know where to ask and who to ask. It'd be nice to know before the next meeting.
I think 2 people live in
Okay,
the house
so-
too.
Yeah. So I think the only other things on the agenda tonight was just, let's see, utility pole requests to replace pole 13 and 14.
Which tree is that?
Street, oh, I have no idea.
Is it somewhere? Oh, here's the email address. Is that-
Dramas, and then what is required, sign off.
You just need to
So it
sign.
is for,
Yeah, there it is, polls.
yeah.
That's my signature.
Did you guys need the Parks Department? Because they are here.
The parcel?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
no.
had, yeah, no, they come in, we had,
Yes, discussion.
Looked at it at 7:30. Yeah, so that's that one, and the other one was,
It doesn't mean.
and the other thing was just as other things in the mail was, let's see, notification of upcoming maintenance work on behalf of Massachusetts Electric Company. This project includes upcoming maintenance of the existing electrical distribution infrastructure on Home Street, right away in Halifax. The last thing on our agenda then will be the meeting with the Parks Commission and Conservation Commission regarding 4th Ave Beach water runoff and erosion. So, anybody here from the Parks Commission?
Yes, myself and Mike Schleich,
Okay.
Bruce Noble. So what we're here today is to find out what we need to do, next steps to move forward in a project that we're working on at the Lincoln Street Beach. So we're trying to make runoff improvements because the way that the water is running down the hill, it's pooling in parts of the hill and then it's running down to the beach. But it's creating its own kind of divergence and it's spilling away at the beach. So we had some engineers come out, and we have all the drawings that they made and plans that they have to build a culvert and a spillway to alleviate that problem and stop the erosion from the beach.
And also
This is the public meeting.
I'm sorry?
Public meeting.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have the WPA, but I got forms that we need to proceed with the engineer. The engineer has done the original drawings for the whole area, the wet, where the wetlands lines are, the trees, vegetation, all the stuff that they're supposed to do with one of these applications that we got to do. Maybe I can show this map.
Sure.
And throw it in front of you.
Yeah, throw it right in the middle. Thanks for coming back.
Is that all the same map?
Yes, it's different copies of the same map. Some of them have some writing on them, just so that we have some copies without writing.
Okay, this is not,
Okay.
this is the beach.
And so this is,
Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. So they're gonna build this culvert, what they call it, for a spillway.
Spillway.
Yeah, so they're gonna create this spillway here, which will divert the water.
Yeah, okay.
And then they're gonna build in the spillway, which is here, to keep the erosion
From the beach.
from the beach. So this is some of the buildup of the water that we're having.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this specifically, where is it? Is the spillway issue right here.
This is more like,
Yeah. So
that's what's happening,
right here.
yeah, right here.
That's what's happening right there. So we're trying to build in a spillway so that this doesn't happen.
So, and then right along here, the engineer said to put
Lonely sand and seed?
yeah, well, it's a, what are they, a rip?
It's okay.
The rip
That's,
wraps.
I just want to say,
I'm just, yeah, no.
Then this
No,
would
she's
be
lives in here.
the spillway.
Okay,
I mean, there's more pictures in here, you can look down there.
yeah. So were you
I was just trying
gonna,
to do a panorama, so you can kind of like,
Yeah, no, this actually works out here.
so are you thinking of doing notice of intent then?
well, we already have the
You already have-
the WPA.
so what we're trying to find out is what we need to submit to make sure that we're doing the right
You
thing.
guys are a couple steps ahead of us, so you'll be prepared when they come back. So I think what they're asking is, do we want them to do an IDA or a notice of intent? That way they just come in front of us.
I would say maybe, how
don't know why.
intent was so close to the water.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah, so I think that would be the next step for us, is just to fill out a notice of intent.
Notice of intent?
And just put everything that you're planning on doing for now, and even if there's something you're thinking of doing within the next 3 years, you would put it on there.
Okay.
Because whatever you submit will be good for 3 years.
It'll cover it for 3 years.
For 3 years, yeah.
Actually, we filed a WPA by pushing 2 years.
Yeah, but is a WPA notice of intent?
No.
No, but it's part of the process. So the notice of intent was, the engineer did the engineering work down there. So he's like saying, all right, where do
Yeah, you have all the plans, but you have to file a notice of intent.
Right. So where do we go? We just, a notice of intent.
And you can find it on the, I think you can find it on the website.
Yeah, it's on the-
Halifax.
yeah, it's on the town website.
So for putting a receptor and this one in here.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything within 100 feet.
I have a question, since they are another town board and it is our public beach, can we waive the fees for them?
I don't know.
We have the
Probably be
budget
a
to
town
do that.
administrator.
Can I just, I'm Mark Dillon, 30 Lincoln Street. If there's anything you can do to help the Parks Department, I really encourage you to do it. These gentlemen have really stepped up for an item on our neighborhood. I know we're kind of pains in the butts down there, but they have stepped up to really improve where we live. Anything you can do for them would be greatly appreciated. A lot of us in the neighborhood are also going to volunteer our time to help them. So my support is behind them. Not that it means much, but it's something.
No,
But please, anything you do.
this is where the water's going, otherwise.
Yeah, I actually frequent the beach, so I get it.
So we get heavy rains, it washes the road.
Yeah, it goes right over, just,
But highway takes care of that. We're just trying to keep the beach from disappearing any further and replenish the sand. It's been
Yeah, so that'll be part of the notice of intent.
yeah, notice of intent, put everything on there.
Everything we know we're gonna do.
yeah, so we did
Yeah.
WPA, and we got to do the notice of intent. So the engineer will put in his part to this drawing.
Yeah.
It's their permits from the state.
Check with the town to see fees.
And we can
Check
check
with the town, $45.
Yeah, we can see if we can waive the fees.
Yeah, if we're able to, that'd be great. I just don't know if we're able.
I don't know if it could be in bylaw.
Copy of certificate from the butters? Where do we get those?
When you put a notice of intent, you have to mail out to the butters
Okay.
what you're doing, so they're aware of what's going on.
Is that part of
Clerk's
the process or
office.
something?
Oh, no, that's part of it. That's part of the process of
That
the
is.
notice of intent.
And the clerk's office will know all of your butters.
Okay.
And then with the spillway,
Yes.
and those who lived on the, and I don't travel further enough up to answer my own question, so every day, but I'm going to assume that the spillway and the work at the public beach is also going to help the residents and others with the water issues that they have there, the way that it's been coming and going and where it sits. And then
It
it
will
will
help
divert
divert all
correctly.
that water, yeah.
Yeah.
Any of that water coming down the hill.
Yeah, but if we get 2 inches of rain in an hour, nobody's going to stop that.
Yeah, no.
But generally, you see the,
And there are other projects we'd like to do, but the water, we have to fix that issue.
Then you can do other things. Yeah?
Before.
Hey, if you think of those other things, put that on the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does anyone have to come back before us?
So you have it.
Lincoln.
Absolutely.
No,
Lincoln
that,
Street.
picnic tables,
with that.
playgrounds, like
Everything.
anything like that.
So this is the high ground, everything kind of flows right that way.
Yeah, it's a natural.
In that way, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. Are you guys talking about the spillway? Is that like the crack that comes from the 4th Ave down to the water? Is that, that culverty area that you...
Fourth Ave is right here.
So if you can see, it's hard to...
Right here, that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it's creating.
Kind of near where the jet skis always are?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the beach area. The jet skis would be here, and then this is where it's coming. So this is what we're trying to alleviate. So it's creating like 3-4 different ditches.
Yeah.
And that's
just
from the road,
washing.
probably, you think?
That's just the water coming down the hill. So all this water that's pooled is actually eventually coming down through this area
It's
here.
the highest and worst I've ever seen it.
Well, yeah, that's bad. That's bad. That's because that happened when we had all the rain.
Yeah, I
But
saw
that's
that
just
last week.
that's just an extreme example. But all the water does come down the hill, and this is where it all ends up,
Okay.
and it's just washing the beach into the pond.
Right.
And makes the land unusable also.
Yeah. And health reasons too.
Yeah, it makes all that land unusable.
There's also concern too, from living there for 14 some odd years. When it rains really bad, it's pine all right there. I mean, I've seen enough trees come down. This will help alleviate what could be, hazards for the town, blocking and access to the boat ramp and fire department. So,
Yeah, no. All right.
So we take all these back.
Thank you very much.
So we just need that notice of intent.
Notice of intent.
All the work
The
we wanna
engineer will
do.
tell you what he needs. He'll know what to do.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
All
it.
right, you can take this. All right.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I wanted to thank all of you for serving on this board and other boards.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
It's, I've been there, it's tough.
Some good days, some bad days.
Pony
Like,
up your time and come up here and deal with what you gotta deal with.
yeah, no problem at all.
I know I appreciate it. There's a lot of people that really do. You might not hear it.
We appreciate what you
Thank you.
guys
Just want you
do.
to know that.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
really do appreciate it.
I think that was the last thing on our agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Oh, quick question. So, before we adjourn, can we get an easel in here? Do we,
We could put it on our budget.
can we put it on our budget just because, people bringing their own is not necessarily ideal and he had plans that,
Yeah,
he's
you
not
could do
able
most people
to.
won't.
Yeah.
If we could get an easel, I don't know how expensive they are, but if we have the ability
Good.
to.
When we get a admin, we can ask them to put it on our
Well, you can
budget.
say it's for the school and automatically get taken care of.
Yeah. Okay, so
I wonder if there's one hanging around or if there's one in the basement.
we can look
Okay, well,
around.
that'd be better. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we ask for an easel, if we ask for an easel and there happens to be an easel, then we'll get an easel.
I don't think we have enough of them. They seem to break through sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a huge budget.
So,
All right, I put a motion that we adjourn for the evening.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.